So I started this video a few months ago, but I didn't get a chance to finish it because as I started the editing process, my mom passed away. I decided to take some time off and go ahead and go through the grieving process and heal a little bit. But now that I'm back and I'm putting together these videos again, I'm going to go ahead and dedicate this one to her. Love you, Mom. So previously in this series, we pulled all my video games out of storage, put them back in my apartment, and discovered I had an Xbox problem. We couldn't get my Halo Xbox to work, but we did get my Executor 3 Xbox working and upgraded. We also managed to get my JTAG experiment up and running. Look at it go. Oh yeah, Benson doesn't like the original Xbox startup logo. He just refuses to acknowledge it as an Xbox. And in my last video, I put together my first RGH in 4 years. I got it all together, modded, and then I boxed it up and shipped it off to my brother-in-law in Portland. Now I'm just looking for something new to do. It's already 3 months into the new year, and I have not seen a day without rain. So that rules out doing anything with my bike. And my PS3 is on the fritz, a little bit outside of my skill set. So what is the only thing I can do? I'll go to Goodwill Finds and buy a new Xbox 360 for another RGH. Now, a few of the YouTubers I've been following have actually purchased from Goodwill Finds, and I decided to give it a try myself. When I purchased this, it was console only, but they did include a hard drive. I was not expecting that at all. We're going to boot this thing up, and we're going to take a look at what's on that hard drive. Another thing I like to check for is the warranty sticker. Not that it means anything anymore, but it's nice to see those intact. Honestly, it probably means nothing. It's really easy to remove those without detection. Now we're going to move my Miracle Xenon out of the way so that way I can plug in this new system and make sure it works. Get all the connectors connected and we'll go ahead and boot it up. Looks like it works. Let's get a controller connected and we'll take a look at what's on here. Killboy79, it looks like I got all your save files. Hit me up. We're going to go ahead and throw a game into this drive and make sure that everything works like it should. Oh, it's booting up. There we go. Got some Street Fighter 4 action coming at ya. The next thing for me to do is go ahead and update it so I have the latest version of the firmware, which I think is now 1,000,000 years old. But that way, when it's time to go ahead and do this reset glitch hack, we're going to be able to match it up real easy. It looks like it's downloading just fine. Let's give it a thumbs up. Okay, thank you. And you know it's not one of my videos unless you have the obligatory Benson pets in it. Now, before we go ahead and do everything we need to do, we have to pull everything apart. And we have to check our phone and eat our cereal. We want to see what kind of optical drive we have in here as well, because there are some crappy ones, but I think this one may have the good one. And I was right, there it is, the Philips Light-On, the drive with the laser that's less likely to fizzle out. Now we want to go ahead and get this open the rest of the way so we can take a look at the processor and get all that thermal paste off. Now when you're pulling off the brackets at the bottom for the processor, make sure you're careful not to, oh no, scratch the traces on your board. This is always a bad thing to do, and you definitely do not want to do that. There's only one thing for me to do in this instance, and it's put it together enough to see if it even starts up anymore. This is going to be fun. The hardest part about this whole process is the waiting. The waiting to see if you didn't mess everything up. After that big sigh of relief, it's time for me to continue the journey. We gotta get those heat sinks off so that we can get all that 15-year-old thermal paste out of the way so we can get it all lubed up to get the heat sinks back on. We also get our NAND points all soldered together so that way we can pull the NAND and write Zell so that way we can get it rebooted. Then we gotta connect to all of our glitcher points. We have to solder everything correctly so that way we can get the glitcher to do what it's supposed to do. To restart the system. I said to restart the system. System restart. Oh no. I go through all of my solder points and make sure I did everything right, and I'm not seeing any improvement on the start time. I do see one new change when I change a solder point on one of the other things, and that is the red ring of death. Crap. Double check every single last solder point on this whole board. I have to go one by one and make sure that I didn't mess anything up. That's when I make the discovery that I had a bridge solder point. I go ahead and fix it, and then pay dirt. I finally get Zell to load up, and now I can start making the necessary changes to the firmware. I go ahead and I hook up my JRunner again, so that way I can write the firmware once again with the necessary changes, while also being careful not to let the JRunner become unplugged in the middle of writing. I don't need that problem. And boom goes the dynamite. We finally got a successful boot from the reset glitch hat chip. And this is how I got my second RGH Xbox running. I'm pretty happy with the work. I'm pretty disappointed with some of the mistakes I made on this particular one. You can see as I'm putting it back together, I'm going to go ahead and restart it a couple times to make sure that I'm not messing anything up as I'm putting it back together, because I still don't need that problem. I take my time and make sure that I don't forget any bolts or anything, since I seem to be having trouble keeping track of everything with this system. But after everything's said and done, it's time to put the finishing touches on this Xbox 360. This blue faceplate was available for the Xbox when it was first released as one of the stock faceplates you could buy from Microsoft to put on there. And I found it in one of the many batches of Xbox that I've bought over the years, and I think it's fitting that it goes on this Xbox. Now I still have to dial in the RGH timings, but I am getting boots, which is the most important thing with this machine. Aurora loads up and I have access to all of my games. It's good to be able to play again on my RGH 360, especially after what happened to my JTAG, which I think I'll have to tell you in another video in the future. So stay tuned for next time, where we finally have a Where Is It At Now project video catch-up. See you then!